a number of conspiracy theories out there that don't really hold much weight at all. I think there are conspiracies out there, and it's okay to have theories on um, what you think is being conspired and so on, and why you think there's a conspiracy. It's sort of, for instance, power and high levels of success can make people do unscrupulous things in order to try and maintain that success, especially if they're not out to improve themselves as a person, but they're out to just get more. They want more. They're addicted now, and they want more. They want more pleasure and attention, whatever, and power within their position. So a conspiracy theory is okay with that. There's lots of theories of why things are done that have some evidence of unfair or immoral conduct. But here we are. I'm talking about ego as well. Like, and of course, individuals who come out with conspiracy theories are coming out with them as well in order to feel special, like they know something other people don't. When really another level of their psyche knows that they're just bullshitting, or they don't really know these things, but they rather convince themselves because that's what they're selling to other people, if you like, particularly if they're making money on it, literally selling it. And I've talked about ego and delusions before. It's something that fascinates me. It's something that I try to keep in check within myself. Um, Hopefully, I'm doing a good job. I'm not going to say I'm doing a perfect job. I'm not going to say I'm never going to be egocentric in a bad way here and there. Um, Ego is not the true self. It should be kept in check. It should not be crushed. That's impossible. Ego is based in fears of not fitting in, not getting attention, not being able to maintain the things you become very accustomed to, like almost an addiction and a fear of losing out and so on. Like I've used the metaphor of an egocentric teenager who dress, talk, and walk and communicate a certain way because they want to be seen to fit in with their clique or their group, right? But the same is true. So it's based on fear, and they become deluded into thinking they are their fantasy that they built up in the ego thing. They are this amazing, cool person that is easy to fit in with people. At some level, there's that quieter voice saying, "You're not this, you're not that. Deal with the real self. Try to be the better person today than you were yesterday rather than pretending." Because that's what ego is pretending, is like acting, really. Like we're all big actors on a big stage, and it don't matter who you are, myself, anyone else, we all have our ego moments within every moment, I think, and even down to how you portray yourself. It's some aspects of ego are fine. It's just when it becomes a problem, when it becomes a dysfunction, when you let the fears that build up your ego take control. It's based in fear. True self is it's just you. It's just awareness, true self, and your storm of all the content of your life's experience, content of your mind is what your consciousness plays with, and everyone has their fears. No matter who you are, everyone has the fears, which can feed the ego. An ego is always worried about yesterday or the next moment. It's never in the moment. It's never here now, right now. All we have is now. And what we do in the moment affects perspective on the last moment and what you're going to do next, or how you're going to deliver information next, or whatever. It's the same with yesterday and tomorrow. What you do today can affect perspective on yesterday and how tomorrow develops. For instance, I printed out some things for ID for tomorrow because I get vaccinated tomorrow. If I didn't do that today, I might miss, I doubt I would get refused anyway, because there's other things in the pipeline that they know who I am, they know, because I have to change my appointment as well and all this. Regardless, that's being proactive rather than reactive. A lot of fear-based, egocentric individuals are reactive mostly than proactive. If there's any group out there that becomes very egotistic collectively as a group, boasting that we are the best, we expose this idiocy, this foolishness here and there, then they'll be successful as long as there is a target to hit. What if one of these conspiracy theories out there, these conspiracy groups, like some group claiming NASA's a liar, or some group that's just having a model of the Earth, flat Earth, donut Earth, whatever shape you want, and has all this bunch of fantasy storyline to what the reality is that doesn't fit into reality, because reality that we are in disproves any of it and denies science and physics and so on. So those are easy to target if you're consistent with the facts of the real world. They're easy to target. They're really easy, actually. At the same time, there are complexities that as you target them, people can learn new things even though they didn't believe the conspiracy crappy stuff anyway. And you can educate people like that. So you're useful then. You can monetize that. You can grow and be successful on YouTube. I think you might know what inspired this video. And regardless of that, while you're doing that, if you make it your be-all and end-all without no backup, and you're not looking inside, addressing the ego while you're getting more and more successful, because you started off with, I'm afraid this might not work. Do I give up a something to fall back on if it don't work? That generates a bit of fear. A little bit. Not overly so, but maybe. It depends how much risk you're taking. Every success brings along with it some things you need to sacrifice, I think. It seems that way more often than not, I would say. And moving forward, like, that ego is growing. It's like, you're special, you've exposed this and that, and look what we do. You point at the conspiracy nuts because it's comical and hilarious to expose these fools. The one group that you're targeting starts to diminish. It's no longer a conspiracy group out there. They used to have big conferences and all that, so it was ideal to attack them. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, is a saying, yeah. There's plenty of other delusions and foolishness out there that can be attacked for its foolishness, for its lack of consistency. When something is persistently lacking in its consistency, it's usually an alarm bell that people, that group or people are bullshitting, because there wouldn't be so many contradictions arriving. They're trying to hide something or trying to feel special. People who attack the conspiracy groups are trying to feel special sometimes, especially if they only pick one. To both sides, not really being honest with themselves. It's ironic. And some people will call them, actually title themselves skeptics, who are only picking one group for the most part. Wow. Well, what happens there? Are you truly a skeptic, or is it just, oh, I'll pick one thing that is easy for me to debunk because I'm knowledgeable in this area? You don't try to be the better person in learning other things to debunk something else to be your title. But if you're boasting the title, why do you have to boast it? Is it because you're not? Yeah. Every time I see overly boasting people, boasting their title, we are this, we are that, we have our group, and that's how we roll, talking in that kind of way. Big numbers, look how many subscribers we got. Then you can guarantee they are about to fail. Really. Look for it. I think many people um, get roped into great promise from groups, myself included sometimes, you know. But over the years, I think I've learned that, it just, if anything's really great promise, like we are the best at this and the best at that, and they keep up that mantra up. No one's as good as us at doing this and that, and this is why you're all here. This is, and all the emotional content rather than actual details. When it gets more and more towards emotion, it's because you let it go to your head. You let your success go to your head. Now, what happens, like I said, when your target diminishes? You're either going to attack your own group, or you're going to make up something, create something in order to attack. Why? Because you're not truth based, you're not real world based. You need to make up stuff in order to maintain your addiction to that fantasy of superiority on moving forward. It's a hard thing to take when you suddenly realize, oh, I've let this go to my head. But I'm too proud or too much pride to show that to everyone else. Cognitive dissonance might kick in and say, well, it can't be me then, it must be everyone else. Unless you really, really looked inside and instead of tripping over that, realizing that step by step is your avoidance of admitting that there's some areas of knowledge and expertise and things that you are not really good with. And there's many things I slate myself with that I'm not really good with. I'm trying to improve on. This is why I like to play with test on the internet. I've got some videos on Exploratory Minds on that. I recently did a test from Brain Mind Metrics or something, whatever they were called. It was an IQ test. Overall score says average. But there's some interesting things there that kind of make me think if it weren't for some of the higher bits within that, I wouldn't be so fascinated with ego because I have that perspective and it's allowing that. But then I look at the lowest bits as well, like math, not very good at all, and those things as well. I recognize my weaknesses. I try to. I can understand people shying away from some of their weaknesses is if they are in a position of, oh, this is easy, this is successful, this is great, and I can got all these fans and everything else. I don't need to improve myself. human nature can become very lazy when we get it really good. But when you're doing that, you're not being the change you want to see in the world either. But you're pointing out all the errors of other people. I'm no angel. I'm a very impatient person sometimes. And in tests, I've done emotional quote on intelligence tests as well, and you know, there's things in that point out. There's some results where I think it's difficult for me to, too narrow a what do you call it, criteria, where you're at certain things. I like the test to learn who I really am. And there's some things there I think I need to improve on that, or this and that. Not to beat myself up, but to be the change I want to see, and avoid being a hypocrite. Calling yourself Team Skeptic, for instance. A team of skeptics. Yeah. Calling yourself skeptical when you're only picking one subject to be skeptic about. There's plenty of target out there, but if you're internally not good enough to recognize how to pull apart and analyze perhaps some of the other things out there rather than just flat earth or whatever target you might choose, then there's a denial of your own weaknesses there and a delusion of superiority. What are you going to do? You're not going to fix yourself if you've gone that far. What you're going to do is wreck yourself, and what you're going to do is create a target to support your ego even more forward. And it just advertises, hey everyone, it's not my fault, it's everyone else. And it advertises, when people see that, it advertises that you're fake. Fraudulent, fake, and far weaker than the egocentric image you was trying to put forward. I did use the word skeptic here, and I used the word team. I'm not going to address them directly. I'm going to do it that way because this applies to anyone, really, myself included. I'm not immune to falling down that silly rabbit hole. Nobody's immune to that. But many people are more successful in avoiding it. Why? Because they look within and they go, oh, this, and this isn't really sensible, or they have a paranoid thought about somebody thinking that I don't know, they're against you or whatever. They get emotion first, but then when you pick it apart, analyze it, perhaps you might think, oh, I was being silly. But the egocentric delusion will not allow you to do that. It will end up being, I'm not that stupid. I don't make mistakes. It's everyone else. There's nothing wrong with me. Fuck off. There's something wrong with us all. Every single human being on the planet. We all have our baggage. We all have our insecurities sometimes. Some other times we all have our overconfidence in areas of where if you're not really knowledgeable enough on something, but you're really, really confident that you can do it regardless of your knowledge, and that's kind of delusional as well. Thank you for watching. This is how bullshit online can be inspiring, though, to make a video in details of, just analyze it maybe, perhaps, and What do you think? Put a comment below. And if you're honest, open and honest about it, put a constructive criticism below, maybe, or be constructive about your comment. Rather than on the other channel rather than comments like "stick your subs up your ass, you cunt," that came to me as a comment some months ago when Donald Trump was still trying to. He had like 36 plus lawsuits to try and find voting fraud. None of them have found any substantial evidence at all. Among other things, I'm not really a fan of deplatforming people, but some individuals actually, I would argue, requirement to be deplatformed. So I had the emotional response, and I said, "Oh, thanks for commenting. Please explain why you think I'm a cunt." It was still available to be seen in my notifications, but the comment was later deleted off by then under the video. So if you're going to say something and you're really, really honest with yourself, and honesty with yourself begins obviously as well with honesty with others. To this day, I'm still waiting for an explanation, of course, and I don't expect one. I just, I put under the video, please explain why you're calling me that, and this and that. But no, doesn't work, does it? When people are like that, it causes dysfunction, and it's one of the worst things about human nature is delusions of superiority. Delusion and fantasy going hand in hand. We've seen how the damage that this does and how it holds things back for other people who have been told would do this and that, but there's other individuals that are so overly ego-driven and delusional that they just are stubborn blocks in the way of actual progress for many other people. A show called Non Sequitur, for instance, should have been back by now if it wasn't for a certain individual's egocentric delusions. That individual is called Kyle Curtis, and it's still going to be worth waiting for it, but it slows things right down for progress. These types of people are in all areas all over the world, even in authority as high as getting to presidency in America. Look at Donald Trump. The egocentric bullshit of, oh, they never turn the cameras around and look at how many are here when he's having his rallies. Why should it matter how many are there? What should matter is, are you doing your job? And so many other things with Trump. You could list them, big list that seems to be infinite. Just felt like making this video. Check your monsters within, and the monsters are your fears. Face your fears, and some power appears, not entirely, but you can keep chipping away at them. When you can, give yourself a break as well. I certainly need to give myself some breaks here and there, more recent, and the way I can do that is utilize the bullshit I've seen in a better way, to make a video about the bullshit I've seen and perspectives and things I feel like I'm learning from or could offer to other people that they might learn from. Am I entirely 100% right? Well, I don't know. It would be egocentric and delusional of me to claim that I'm always right. And that would lead to me to being, more often than not, wrong. Because we all need to maintain the ship that's flying, right? Whatever the metaphor is, we need to maintain that or crash. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll look forward to doing another video soon. Bye bye, just usual stuff, comment, rate and subscribe, whichever you want to do. Cheers, bye.